I'll read back a little bit. But other than that, the CD you are reading this message from will only have about 200 copies exactly like it. So, if you want to possibly see the science fiction fantasy parable in its entirety, or the Mohammedan who comes back for more, in completion, you better hope these CDs taped to paper plates aren't tossed into the trash. The same goes if you want to get in on the treasure hunt for the 10 grand. More like 10, more like 10 pennies, said Mohammed the trucker Atef in a monotone. He tried to act angry at what he was hearing, so as to not attract suspicion that he was now fighting hard to maintain his faith in Allah's religion. He still he was still in shock from what the van driver uh, Yusuf Yasser had told him. The fire and fury in his voice was now gone. He now felt as though he was just going through the motions of being a faithful jihadi. The image of Niles was continued with him saying, if you are never able to see them through this process, then wait a few months. They might be downloaded onto MohammedTube, which is an excellent YouTube-like site to learn about Islam. This site was created by a native Arabic speaker known as Christian Prince, who, until the Muslims got him, was fantastic at teaching Islam. He was so effective at exposing the inanity of Islam that he had to hide his face or die. You should also check out Prophet of Doom and Act 17 Apologetics. These are also great sites to learn about Islam, where you might see the great Islam fighter like Ahmed's Quran 3. Oh, we might see the great Islam fighters like Ahmed's Quran 3, Craig Wynn, Coptic priest Zakaria Botras, or Robert Spencer, who created Jihad Watch. All these people are fantastic teachers of true Islam and not the haters, liars, and racists that Muslims try desperately to convince you they are. They live in fear of their facts and evidence against Islam. I highly doubt that I'll be putting my science fiction parable and other stories on any other sites except for possibly, again, MohammedTube. It depends on whether the one now in charge of it continues to keep it on the internet. Doubtful, but time will tell. Yeah. Time will tell. It's probably boring as hell, said the young-looking Mohammed Ziad Hura Jabir, whom I'm throat-cutting, now watching the laptop with Atef. Neville's image went on, well, you are probably wondering why such a thing as this has come about.
Yeah.
Is it some kind of revenge for 9/11? Or the censoring of South Park to pacify Muslims after they showed Muhammad in a bear costume? Muhammad Atef noticed that there was no mention of the destruction of the Willis Tower, with a nuke set off by what many set off by what many took to be Muslims, including secretly Muhammad Atif himself. Atif stopped the video and said softly to those around him, yeah. Atif stopped the video and said softly to those around him, "This must be old video or prologue to Project Jihad." He made no mention of what got him into trucking. "You mean the glorious nooking of the Sears Tower, brother?" a voice from a few feet away asked. "Right, Brother Mehboob. He just mentioned 9/11, not Chicago," said Atif again in a monotone. So many thoughts were going through his head now. Were going through his head. None were comforting him. None were comforting to him. There was a tap on the mouse, and the sub continued with, "Is it revenge for all the killings of American troops trying to bring food to Muslims in Somalia, Egypt, and Libya? Is it for the ungratefulness Muslims showed America for freeing them in Kosovo? Is it the fear of having the whole of humanity on prayer rugs with patooties high in the air 5 times a day, every day, to keep from paying the jizya tax? Or have Quran 9, 1 through 5, and 9:29 kick in when Quran 9, 111 is completed?" Well, those could definitely be possibilities. Again, there's no mention of the Willis Tower being destroyed. Again, there's no mention of the Willis Tower being destroyed. This is an old recording, said trucker Muslim Atif, feeling that he might be able to pull it off, that he was still in the faith. The sub went on with, "However, if you see my science fiction fantasy parable in its entirety, it will give you a strong hint as to why Project Jihad was launched, literally. One of the main motivating factors in the creation of Project Jihad is the belief that if Muslims can actually study Islam instead of just memorizing it like a kindergartner with the Pledge of Allegiance, that it might slow down the encroaching terror and intimidation that is fundamentalist Islam, might stop the evil. Who knows? Maybe South Park will be able to make fun of Muhammad like they feel so freely to do with Lord Jesus Christ and Christianity. Maybe you will be able to name a teddy bear Muhammad without fear of having your head sawed off. If Muslims can truly study Islam and see what's not only in the Quran but also in the Hadith as well, Islam might be reformed. Might. Again, Muslims actually don't study Islam in spite of Muhammad saying seeking knowledge for 1 hour is better than 70 years of prayer. The trucker named Muhammad Atif tapped on the laptop mouse, stopping the digital image of the sub Niles Neville. "Please tell me I didn't hear him right. Please tell me I didn't hear that right," Muhammad Atif said softly to himself. "What?" asked Muhammad Ziad Harajabir, the young Muslim whom I'm throat-cutting. "What did he say?" Atif hesitated, but he backed up a little bit on the video and hit the play button again. Neville's image started talking again, saying, "If Muslims can truly study Islam and see what's not only in the Quran but also in the Hadith as well, Islam might be reformed." Might. Again, Muslims actually don't study Islam in spite of Muhammad saying seeking knowledge for 1 hour is better than 70 years of prayer. Atif tapped the mouse, stopping the image of Neville again. He backed up a tiny bit on the video, hesitated, closed his eyes, praying to Allah that he didn't hear it right, and hit the mouse again, making the recorded image of Neville say again, "Islam might be reformed. Might." Again, Muslims actually don't study Islam, in spite of Muhammad saying seeking knowledge for 1 hour is better than 70 years of prayer. The trucker Muslim Atif struck the mouse top with his finger again, stopping the image of the sub from talking further. He cringed and whimpered, feeling absolutely sick. Allah, he groaned. He felt some tears come to his eyes as he thought of the trucker he killed yesterday. That dreaded feeling of dark, smothering claustrophobia coming down on him was beginning to increase again. Please tell me that can't be authentic hadith, he said softly. What? What do you mean, brother? Asked a young looking at Ziyad sitting next to him. Please tell me that can't be authentic hadith, Atif said softly again. Authentic hadith? What do you mean? Asked Ziyad again. Please tell me it can't be authentic hadith. Atif shouted with fury and sadness. What? What, brother? What can't? Asked Muhammad Thayer Thaqib, sitting up front in the passenger seat. Thayer looked concerned. That damn kafir said that Allah's apostle, may Allah pray on him and give a blessing, said, quote, seeking knowledge for 1 hour is better than 7 years of prayer. He has to be lying. Has to be lying. Please tell me that's not authentic hadith, brothers. There was silence again. After a long pause, the question came from the front of the van. Brother, why are you listening to that loser? He is a loser who will be cast into the fire of hell to have skin burned off daily throughout eternity. So, why are you listening to him, brother? Are you a glutton for punishment? Yeah, are you a glutton for punishment? Muhammad Atif just sat there looking at the laptop. He then said, to know our enemy. Lao Tzu said, to defeat your enemy, you must know him. To know his words and thinking. To become like him. What better way than to study his videos? He's dead, brother, said another voice in the darkness of the van, this time coming from Mahbub Mazen. Besides, Lao Tzu didn't say that about knowing your enemy. That was Sun Tzu, the one we study. Lao Tzu, this guy Kobashi, was recited in that video he made. Muhammad Atif then said, as he tried to collect his old way of thinking, dead, yes, dead, but the videos of Neville, his CDs, they live on. That's Daniel Kobashi. We attacked, put this CD in a rest stop outside of Seattle, right? And he put the other CDs you destroyed in rest stops since then, right? If so, he's placing these CDs everywhere. A regular Johnny Appleseed, unquote. I put Johnny Appleseed, unquote. But with anti-Islam CDs this time. Sowing anti-Islam CDs across the continent. Leading to soul death by creating doubt. Oh. I think I read a little further here. Yeah. Leading to soul death by creating doubt in the most compassionate, most merciful. Like you said yourself, brother. These CDs and Kobashi are what we are in jihad against now, brothers. This is our jihad. Dar al-Harb still exists, after all. We are still at war. If we don't see what the CDs attack Islam on, how can we fight them? If they find their way onto the internet by Kobashi. And don't tell me they can't get on the internet either. I'll stop over here.